Okay, welcome back to Business Owners Speak. Today, I'm thrilled to have with us Kelly Leary with Revolution Dating. Kelly, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing very well. How are you today, Matt?
I am great, thank you. Very interested to hear more about your business. So if you could, tell us a little bit about you and about the business, and then we'll go backwards.
Sure. It's a great long story, so I'll give you the short version, the current version. I have my master's degree in clinical psychology, and I started working in this industry way back in 1991 as a front desk girl down in Boca Raton at a different company, no names, and really fell in love with the business. And I realized that connecting people is technically a form of therapy, because a lot of people, and especially with the pandemic, people were disconnected, and loneliness is a thing, says the Surgeon General too. It's a big thing right now. But even back then, I realized I was helping people by connecting them. So I passed on my career as a psychologist, a real psychologist, so to speak, and became known as the Florida matchmaker, says the press. It is a long story now, but I'm almost done. So basically, like 20 years into my career, I realized that the companies that I had worked for were not operating the way I wanted to. I felt that we could help our customers better, whether it was because they were signing up way too many women and not enough men, or other things that I don't really want to say. So I got the gumption, and I wanted to say a different word. So I got the courage to do this very scary thing and leave my cushy job, and opened up Revolution Dating exactly 10 years ago. And we are thriving. Our clients have never been happier. I have never been happier with what I see in the business. It actually could give me happy tears. It's so remarkable. So that is how I got into the business and how I'm here today.
All right, so 10 years ago, you decide I'm going to do this. You got the courage, you did it. So how do you even start a business like that? Like, as you try to connect people, kind of what were your steps to let people know that your services were available?
Well, I had lived it literally as the front lady, if you will, for 22 years prior to. So I had done basically more ground level grit research, hardcore research from the bottom up, and noticed and observed. I'm an open book, by the way, so I tell people know this about me. But I noticed and observed, hey, this really works. Hey, this doesn't. So when I finally got the courage to open up my own business, I knew what we were going to do. And we entered the scene with a bit of a brave wave of love. I was so well known because of my successful couples and everything else. Like, I was so well known that clients were sort of flocking to us. So we had an incredible first opening year. I did pay for some full page ads, new newspaper was more popular then. Right. So that would have been 2013, 2014. Yeah. And yes, people were reading newspapers. So I was taking out big ads and doing all kinds of things to let everyone that knew about me know, hey, I didn't leave the industry. I just decided to open my own company. I'm not working for anyone else anymore. It's silly now. I went rogue, you could say.
Yeah, you did. All right, so someone contacts Revolution Dating. Walk us through kind of the process. What happens?
So people contact us because we are well known, and they call us either through word of mouth. I write a little article for the local community news that goes into like 18 papers, but all very good high net worth areas. We do cater to people with a decent net worth. This is a luxury item, but I want to make it clear for your listeners or people that are interested in my firm that we represent nurses and teachers, you know, firefighters, policemen. Like, you don't have to be a millionaire to do this.
Right.
That's where other matchmakers like across the country have gone wrong. I recently read an article over the weekend. Some matchmakers in the country are charging $350,000 to work with a matchmaker. And I have never even heard of them. So that means they're no good. So basically we get our inbound calls. People chase us, we don't chase them. We get our inbound calls from word of mouth or magazine articles that have been done on me. I've been on, you know, multiple magazine covers. I've been in, you know, an anchor in several of the local magazines like Jupiter Magazine, Stewart Magazine.
I've seen
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, as you just said, you recognize your veterinarian on my website.
I do. Yes, I was looking at it today and like, that woman sure looks familiar. And sure enough, there she is. Takes care of the dogs.
Yeah, right. So she has gone public, clearly, like, so she's okay with it. And then I don't know if you can see that,
Oh, yeah.
but this is like when she joined single, right?
Yep.
And which was maybe a year before the pandemic. And then this is her husband, who's a very successful CEO, CFO, book author. I need to plug his book. This is probably why they went public. Hold on. That is his book, John Sloan.
Okay.
Yeah. So they eloped in April of 20. They were married in August of 20. Right. So we're in full lockdown, eloped, one just away by the two of them alone. And then in November of 21, they had baby Ava.
Oh, nice.
And then they came to my Christmas party, and there's me.
Oh.
I'm like the fairy godmother.
You're a part of the family. That's right.
Yeah, that's a God wink that
So
you
how does
recognize
the
her.
matchmaking actually happen?
Okay, so the matchmaking happens, it starts with, noticing us, hearing about us. We are huge. We are at the top of the line of the mountain. In matchmaking, dating, online dating, there's no comparison, as you can probably feel and clearly tell. So we'll use, ironically, I had them out on my desk, and obviously I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, how crazy is that? So this is Christine, again, when she joined. We make a portfolio. I call it like a badge. So you get like a badge, and it takes a couple weeks typically after someone joins, gets accepted to join. You do have to be accepted. Okay. So, because we don't want snarky people. I've done that before, and that is not a good thing. And nobody wants to date a snarky woman or man. True. So unfortunately, yeah, in the past I have probably enrolled a snarky person here and there, no more. So we enroll nice people, decent, salt of the earth, successful, career, authentic. That's John. So once this is created, Matt, we would be emailing the female to the male to the female. And then we would, if they both say yes to each other, we would go ahead and give the gentleman her phone number. I do like chivalry. I hope that's okay to say on your show.
Yes, it is.
Because I think that's a word, I think it's okay to be chivalrous.
So are they picking from a list, or are you saying, I think here are some people that could be a good fit for you based on what you're looking?
So Matt, that's a really good question. I think that most people, their picker is broken or off.
Yeah.
And in a sense, I think a little bit, I say this lightly and not pathologically, I think there's a little bit of a delusion when people go online, because they see, this unbelievable perfect 10 of a woman, who might not even be a real person, and they think, oh, I can get that girl. So people start to sort of lose perspective, and that's actually a real problem these days. People are losing their objectivity. They have too many options, too many choices, and they don't know what's good for them. They're just looking, like, wait a minute, I don't like your shirt, so I don't want to date you. That's how shallow people have become. So we usually have to do some undoing after a client joins if they've been online. So to answer the question is, we do the picking, thank God.
Okay. And as far as, I did see some events on the website and whatnot. Is that, I'm sure during COVID, that was a little bit of a challenge, but is that part of your process where you do a big mingler where a bunch of people come together?
We used to do those. They are a lot of work because if you saw, we had events on Palm Beach Island, Cafe Balud. I mean, we don't do things that are shabby. So we have a live music. We were doing that much more frequently pre-pandemic, and it was good. It was fun, but the pandemic gave us a break from parties and let us root back down to matchmaking, and let us realize how much people needed us and loved us, because we were booming during COVID, because people knew that we were more careful with who we would see, making it better for them to date instead of rolling the dice online and then run the risk of getting quarantined, on lockdown for 14 days. So we noticed a whole new, really refreshing momentum that kicked in during that timeout. The only parties I have done in the last, say, year-ish is sponsoring events for furry friends, Jupiter Animal and Adoption Clinic. Typically once a year, we do an event with Leukemia Lymphoma Society called Wheels, Wings, and Fashion, which is at the private airport in Lauderdale. You might have heard of those guys. Yeah, so we do a lot of affiliations with charities, and that's so far all we've done. But guess what? We just entered our 10th year, so I'm being pressured to have a 10-year anniversary. You'll be invited, and your wife.
And you mentioned talk about your team a little bit. Do you have some other matchmakers with you?
Yes, I do. So I believe you've been corresponding mainly with Miranda, who is our COO, and good for her that she sort of flagged you. Since we are asked to do things, our time is very valuable. So Miranda is an excellent COO, very educated, very creative, very worldly, and she is my right-hand girl. It's sort of like Hoda and Jenna on the Today Show. So that's we're a great team there. And then we have about, I would say between 7 and 10 other people that work for us remotely. For whatever reason, we are allowing them to still work remotely. So we have a fairly good sized, reasonable team.
That's great. All right. And so I'm sure you have some great success stories. And as you've just shared with us, going forward, what's the business look like moving forward? Just continue to try to connect as many people as possible?
Every day. We always think about the connections first, because, success follows. If you think about your client's first, the success will, wrap its arms around you. And that's our motto. So we absolutely will continue to do that. We do have intentions to grow bigger. We have been asked to do some television over the years a few times. One even for HBO, Cinemax. So I don't really know. I'm really open because I'm at that stage in my career where I'm ready for some even further expansion. I'm very secure with where we are. So I'm ready to grow further.
Great.
Bigger.
So
excited about it.
What and I'm not sure of the marketplace, but do you have some competition here locally that does what you do that's not online?
They think they do. I mean, to each his own. Everyone has a different idea. There's, maybe some people don't charge women, but they charge men. I don't agree with that. I think that's an extension of an escort service, frankly. And I think there's some pitfalls in that. Usually looking for tremendous age gaps, like a 20 or 30 year younger woman. And then there's there might be some companies that don't really have an office and they enroll people via Zoom. this is a great office here on PGA Boulevard where we've been for 10 years.
Okay.
So it's a little different when you get to sit with your clients like I have with John and Christine. So
Sure.
I think to each his own. I'm sure everyone has their level of success. I don't really call it competition, but if I were to refer to it as competition, I think the old adage is that it's good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So single people out there in Palm Beach County or wherever that are lonely and looking for love, what's some advice you would give them besides call you?
Oh God. So we do service up the Palm Beach County area. The Treasure Coast is gigantic as well. A lot of wonderful people on the Treasure Coast that are professional, single, new to the area. They bought there even during the pandemic, the flight to Florida. And that is not like, they almost have to join a service. And my mission is to save people from online dating, that's for sure. Because I think it's not only wasting people's time and money and causing a lot of heartache, I think it's messing up the whole romantic curve of, courtship, and, everything is swipe. It's like people they're swiping left on a first date with a human being in front of them. And
Right.
I find that like really cruel. So my advice, other than to call us, is to I would write down a list of what you want in a person, like the top 5 things. I would focus on what you want and not what you don't want. I think that that's another problem with today's dating game, dating culture, if you will, across the country. People are too focused on what they don't want. So when you focus on that, you get more of what you don't want. When you focus on what you want, you'll get more of what you want.
Very nice. And
so that would be my advice.
And PS, just call Kelly. She'll take care of it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Should I say the phone number?
It's going to be on the screen. They're going to see it. Don't worry.
Yeah, super nice, super helpful, very accessible, as is my team. And we're here to help, really. And it's fun.
How about other business owners that may have been 10.5 years ago, thinking about taking that leap? They have an idea, they have a plan, but they don't quite have the courage. What's some advice you would give somebody in that situation?
So, that's a real emotional question because it's huge. It is opening up a business, investing your time and your money, and walking away from security is huge. When you have a mortgage, when you have a child, and it's a very, very daunting task. I would say to put your ducks in a row, whatever your ducks look like. Have a plan. It doesn't have to be these long plans. You know what I'm talking about. You've got to have a business plan, and needs to be all these pages. And I don't think you need all that. Again, what you want and what you don't want. And I would say, find your investment, how you're going to fund your business. Stay reasonably within your budget, take safe risks, and have some mentors around you.
Yeah.
I would be happy to mentor with someone, a female, if you wanted to ask me, or she did.
Okay.
So yeah, it's doable. It takes a lot. It's a big, big leap. Yeah. That first year was like
Yeah, I'm sure you had some moments where it's like, what have I done?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of funny stories involved in how it was done too, but that my inner circle knows that it's worth it.
Well, Kelly, I really appreciate your time. Revolution Dating, Kelly Leary, the leader in matchmaking.
Yay!
Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. You're very nice. I hope to see you again very soon, Matt. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Have a great day. Thanks so much.